Hey everyone, my name is John Driscoll, and today I'm going to walk you through my Google site about the computing innovation of open source software. This innovation has a huge impact on how we build and use technology today. As I guide you through each section, I'll share some of the key points I learned while creating this site and explain how I use tools like Google Sites, Sheets, and Canva to build it. So the first page that we have is the home page, which is the purpose of the innovation. So here on the homepage, I introduce what source software is and why it matters. Instead of keeping code private, open source makes it available for anyone to use, change, and improve. This creates a culture of collaboration and transparency. Tools like Firefox, Linux, and Blender are built by communities, not just companies. This goal is to make technology more accessible and customizable. The next page that we have is the impacts page, which is the benefits, effects, and influence of open source. First, a big benefit of open source is that it's free to use and can be modified for your needs. It empowers developers and organizations of all sizes. But one downside is the lack of official support. You usually rely on your own community or yourself to help you. Next, in terms of impact on society and culture, open source promotes digital equity and open collaboration. Economically, it saves companies money and speeds up innovation because developers don't have to start from scratch. I also talk about how it affects other fields like education on my site. Tools like Moodle and LibreOffice help schools provide software to students without expensive licenses, which is especially useful in underfunded areas. I embedded a chart using Google Sheets to show how open source adaptation has increased over time, going from under 50% in 2010 to over 90% in 2023, based on the Red Hat industry report. I also included my survey results and an infographic I designed in Canva, which shows popular examples of open source tools. The next page, after the impacts page, is the technical aspects page, user interaction and programming concepts. On this page, I explain how users interact with open source software. You can download it, install it, customize it, and even contribute to it on platforms like GitHub. I also talk about the computing concepts behind open source, like abstraction and programming. For example, in GitHub, developers use modular code and pull requests to update specific parts of a project. This means that they don't know the whole system, just their part. It shows how abstraction and collaboration work in real life. On the bottom of the page, I had a GitHub workflow diagram to visually show how people contribute to code using branches and pull requests. This helps connect the technical concepts to actual user actions. The last page on my Google site is the references page and how I found all the information that I use. I include five sources, format an APA style, and then add annotation using the CRAP test or CRAAP test. These help me make sure the information was current, accurate, and reliable. Sources like Red Hat and Linux Foundation gave me data and background on the topic, while sites like ZDNet and the Enterprises Project provide real-world context. So the technology used to create this website, the steps that I took was to make the actual site on Google Sites. I created most of the charts that I used on Google Sheets and imported them into Google Sites. Canva I used to design the infographic, and the GitHub diagrams are from GitHub and how to get around everything. Let's, so closing, overall, I learned that open source software isn't just about free code. It's a mindset of openness, community, and shared problem solving. It's a huge part of today's technology, and it shapes how we work, learn, and connect. Thank you for listening.